Kibet. Kuria. Joseph.
Good morning, I'm present.
Oh, fine, I can see you. I want us to set the notes. Check whether you can see the notes there and then read for me.
I can see the notes.
You can see? Can you see it?
Yes.
Read for me.
Cover page format. The
If you can read the word cover page, okay. Is the font good for you? Is the font good? You can see things effectively well or expand.
I can see.
Very well. Fine. Good. I'm giving you like 3 minutes only. Me, I'm ready so that you can start. I'm expecting others are joining. The number is not what I expected. Ziza, I can see Ziza here. Ziza, I want to animate this one, animate that, animate that. Caesar, I'm listening. Caesar, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm waiting for your people.
Yes, I can hear you.
Can we start now? Although whatever I'm doing, if they miss a beat, it can be terrible.
Yes, you can start.
I can start.
You can start.
Okay, fine.
You can start.
Okay, fine. I see you. Turn from here.
You'll be upstairs.
So your course has two components in it. There's one called planning, what we call business planning. It is expected that we must take you through what is a business plan. But the objective here is to introduce you to what is business plan and to ensure that you appreciate the various components of business plan. That is chapter 1 to chapter 5. I'll give this one 30 marks for you so that whenever you're continuing with theory, you're also doing that part of business plan. It will be simplified. It will not be like any other business plan taught at a BCom, Bachelor of Business Administration, that kind of thing. This one is a little bit compressed and simpler. So I will introduce you what it is. You continue doing that. By the end of the semester term, you give me that a booklet, which you'll bind and then put it in the library. I'll be helping you to go through every chapter so that you understand it. And it's a simple thing. It is exactly day-to-day activities that you'll be doing when you go out there, when you are serving the nation in terms of an engineer, and also when you are doing a project. It's very, very useful. If you graduate without this one, you'll be wondering how you graduated. So let's go very quickly and see what is this business plan. And then later on, we go back to our own theory. We go through the topics that you have in the syllabus, but this one will go hand in hand. So instead of having the group work, you do this now as a business plan. And instead of having those other assignments, this one will be your business plan. And then you only have one sitting cut. So it caters for other marks. I would also want to ask a question: is any one of us had done business plan before I continue, so that I can tell what areas I put more emphasis on? I want to hear from you. Obadia. And Obadia will also be helped by Nixon Mutwiri. Mutwiri?
No, I've not done it before.
Obadia.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Fine, no problem. So I will simplify it in a manner that becomes easier and interesting to you. When you are doing business, hey, Obadia, mute. When you are engaged in a project, a business, or you want to come up with intervention somewhere in society, the most important thing that comes to your mind is a plan. You don't have a plan, maybe architectural plan, you don't have a design for engineering or anything. All that is controlled by the funds, how much you have. If you don't have money, then there's no need of even planning for that project. So the people who provide you with the money, they are funders. They could be business angels, they could be venture capitalists, they could even be a bank or any financial institution, probably even a government or development partner who should come up with a project that will help a large number of people. They will request you to provide with them a business plan. That's why business plan is so crucial, we can never ignore it. And that's why the university give a lot of prominence on it, a lot of emphasis on it. Let's go through it quickly. When you are doing a business plan, you would expect it to have a cover page. Technical University of Kenya, the school that you belong, the department. I understand there's some schools, there's some faculties that don't have school, they don't have department, they have a school only. That's okay, just write the school, you know the department. The course you're taking, civil engineering or BH, the topic, the one you choose a topic that you write about, presented by your name, admission number, your email, very correct email, and the cell phone number, the correct cell phone number. Why? I may find a very serious problem that you are having, you as an individual, and I call you. Present it to me. So here, write my name. Example, expect you to write my name. Good. Date presented, so as I'll be knowing which date that you presented. If its status is a new chapter, chapter 1, chapter 2, 3, 4, 5. If it's correction, you indicate for me it's correction. If the final submission, you indicate for me it's final submission. At the very end of that rubric, what you call a cover page, I expect you to have this emphasization. A business plan submitted to the department of course, you'll do to my department where I come from because there's one learning in this one now, the business administration. So I expect you to write business administration, entrepreneurship. That's why I serve in the School of Business Management Studies in virtual fulfillment for the degree that you are taking here of the Technical University of Kenya. You need to write that. Why? There are so many booklets that come to my office or to our office. We want to know you're submitting to us, but you're coming from this school and you're coming from this department and you are called who, this name and your admission number. So we'll be able to trace your business plan. So that don't come to us and tell us, oh, I did business plan 2023, now it's 2033. We are taught by another lecturer. Those things will just appear there. I want you to know this. A business plan is made up of components, and each one of them has a value, which I'll teach you later on each one of them. It has got chapter 1 to chapter 5. I'll be admitting people along the way when I'm talking. You find me switching back and forth. There's cover page, I've talked about it, and anytime you are presenting any chapter to me, of which you just do twice, because you have got other things you are doing, I'll not take you through the process I take to Bachelor of Commerce students. I'll simplify this one to highest level. I expect you to have a cover page at any given time so that I know what level are we in. So we only do twice. So I'm not worried about this. It's something you can cover, it's doable. What do I mean by this? We'll have executive summary. The executive summary summarizes, give us a preview of what you read in that particular document of yours. You'll say chapter 1 will involve ABC, blah, blah, blah. Chapter 2 will talk about this. Chapter 3 will talk about this. 4, 5, and 6. So that when I read your document, it's like Muktasari in the news. It says, President Ruto appointed as the head of this in Africa. Raila would shake hands with President Ruto on Thursday, on 29th, Friday. Kalonzo Musyoka has accepted to be a deputy president. You know, something like that. But now you want to read to understand it. You know the depth of it will come in the main body of the news. That's why you have got executive summary. Acknowledgement, you need to acknowledge who taught you this. My name must be there because if this project get lost, that's why we check who taught this person. You must be able to appreciate the person, or acknowledge the person who took you through the document. You write my name here and you acknowledge me. There's a better way of doing it. Declaration, you will declare that this document is your original work and it has never been presented to any other university in Kenya or elsewhere, and you are the original owner. Dedication, you can dedicate it to your friend, mother, father, and other people. Appendix, if you have got a map that you have, maybe you're showing the direction of your business or a direction of your business, or probably you have a picture or an architectural drawing or a design like you people engineers, you'll attach it there. We're allowed to do that. There's a lot of freedom under this thing. And I want you to take this unit very seriously because it will be very useful for you when you go to projects. This is a business plan guide. It's chapter 1 to 3. And I want to take you through now chapter 1 to 3 so that you start writing when you are doing the other units on our own. I'm trying to join, to allow everyone to join. I don't know why some people are not joining. Caesar, you mute. Caesar, you mute, eh? Caesar, you need to mute. Caesar, can you hear me? You need to mute. So we move on. It will be very brief. Chapter 1 to 3. But I want you to understand now formally what is business plan. It is a written document. There are so many businessmen and women here in Nairobi or Kenya. They are doing business, but they don't have a written plan. But they have a plan somewhere. It is in their mind. But what is not written, you cannot be able to add, or someone, a friend cannot come in and add you value on it. So this time we are doing a business plan, which is a written document, and it is specify the procedures for achieving your objective in terms of profits, in terms of expansion, in terms of when to harvest your business. And it also tells you who will do what, when, how, and probably the resources around. If the resources are constrained, will let us know if you have less than what you require. That's why we will have it around. What is the importance of business plan? It is a financial tool. It should provide you and the person who want to fund you with information that would clearly indicate where you are, where you are coming from, and where you propose to be in the next maybe 1 year. The financial will go through and understand it, and he will say, change ABCD so that I fund you. So it's a financial tool. It's a blueprint. I've already said, it shows you where you're coming from, where you are, and where you'll be going. Another element is that it helps human resource managers and people to know who to employ, when, how, and how many of them, at what point. The other day, we were accused of, by a member of parliament, that universities become employment centers. We have employed so many people. And they were complaining that a large number of the universities have got so many employees they don't require. And they are coming up, the government is coming up with Virtual University. The chair now is, I think, Dr. Mwangi of Equity. It will enable students to study maybe with a fee of 5,000 in a year because it will be online. And there will be no employee anywhere. It may be require only one lecturer who teaches entrepreneurship for 10,000 students, but there will be one to mark, someone else to mark for those people. They are called under the mark and then they leave. I don't know how successful it will be, but the human resource managers would probably come up with a theory that that's not proper because of the following reasons. But the business plan is one that helps us understand all those things. When you're writing a good business plan, what do you require? You require to have brevity. It must describe the business accurately and effectively. What do I mean? When you are doing a business plan, don't give us a lot of stories, and also don't become so sketchy. So you must describe your business in a manner that it is very accurate to whatever you want to say, precise, and the person reading will be attracted. In a novel you read anywhere, it encourages you to go to the next chapter. So let the reader have motivation to read the next chapter. He must be truthful. Don't tell us something very sweet, sugar-coated, but when you go to practice, there's nothing. Don't say that at the end of the 1 year, I'll be able to buy a KICC, and you're selling milk, only 3 packets. Interesting to hear, but is it practical? I want you to understand that your business plan must be dynamic. It must be able to accept that there are so many changes in the world globally that affects the fuel in Kenya. And the fuel will affect your goods that you're selling to people. So let us see the margins. Your margin will be changing depending, the profits will be changing depending on the environment. Fuel has changed. Employee also demanding more money, more, or maybe more wage, so that they're able to pay for transport. You yourself would want to adjust 1 or 2 things. So it means that you must be dynamic. And that dynamism is brought about by aspects for the business how it's running. So we are saying here that we need to be very practical in whatever we are doing, what we are saying, and it must be in a manner that it is accepting that the world is dynamic, the world is changing, and that your business is also changing around. Be simple, bring a lot of clarity in whatever you're doing. Avoid giving too much sentences that are not adding value. Let the customer know what you are selling by benefit, not necessarily the features. Let your business plan be a roadmap that tells you you are here, but in 2030, we would expect you to be at this position. Precisely. That's why you are having it. And I've described all that. You have chapter 1 to chapter 5, and now you go to chapter 1. These things will be very simple. Don't complicate them. But I want you also to learn a lot, because when I come for industrial attachment, when you're going around and I find you as your engineer, I'll ask you some few questions. Can you relate what you're doing now in terms of budget, in terms of input, in terms of output, in terms of where you'll be the next 5 years in a project? We want our student to stand out when you go out in industrial attachment. This is one that we meet out there. Their cost, their input, their output you're expected to come out with. Otherwise, you don't just spend money in an organization and you're not giving output. You'll be chased out. Chapter 1. Very simple. Anytime you are doing chapter 1 or chapter 2, whatever, the name chapter should be centered, uppercase, and don't write 1 here. Write in numerals, write 1 in word. Chapter 1 in bold, centered, and uppercase. Introduction should appear exactly my name. You can see you have started with the capital letter I, introduction. It should be bold. Then 1.0, business description. Anything called chapter 1, it will have 1. When you go to chapter 2, it will go to 2. When you go to 3, that way up to 5. Business description. So I want you to give me briefly, not a lot, what are the main features of your business? For example, you'll be providing services in urban area, and you want to do beautification and also pavement. So you'd say that we want people to enjoy the environment they're in, like what happened now along CBK, Central Bank of Kenya, KRA, all around to National Bank, and all around near the bomb blast. Okay, it is well paved. Actually, if you come from rural area and your shoes are dirty, you look funny when you're around that region. It looks very clean. That was the corporate social responsibility that was an initiative of central bank. I'm sure you don't know. It was the former governor, the former central bank governor did it. It looks smart, clean, and the banks now around it look that they know what is corporate social responsibility. So just describe to us that my business will ensure that the people around Nairobi, they will enjoy security, there will be lighting system, the pavement will be done so well, there will be flowers around it, and the lighting will be in a manner that it does not disturb the road users or probably the pedestrians, and the environment will be clear of any congestion. You just describe for us. So you tell us the vision of your business, the mission of your business, and briefly you will explain what the business will do. Just that 1.0. 1.2, the legal form of the business ownership. Who owns the business? So tell us is a sole proprietorship or whether it's partnership, limited company. You choose one. But I would probably tell you that don't go beyond partnership, because when you go to chapter 5 and you're not good in the consolidated accounts, this one will be a very serious problem to you. But if you've got a background of CPA and you're an engineer, I have no problem. I'll mark for you and help you. Go up to partnership and sole proprietorship. Business that is that talks about either the owner and maybe the family. If it's partnership, there is partnership deed, 2 or 3 members, which is good for engineers. You can have partnership with the electrical engineer and your civil engineer. You come up with one company. One will be dealing with any matters related to electrical, and you'll be doing any matter relating to civil. It's allowed, and it will be a beautiful thing to go through. 1.3, I want you to indicate the goals. But before then, I want you to understand what is a goal. Many people say I have a goal, but they don't know what it entails to have a goal. So you are allowed to split your goal in 2 forms, short term and long term. But before then, I want you to understand a goal. All of us have some specific horizon that we would want to reach to, which is guided by a vision and our mission. But a goal is a specific objective that we want to achieve in a specific period of time, guided by the resources that you have or knowledge that you have. And it can be long term or short term. So I want your goal to be specific, and therefore it's guided by something you call SMART, what you call SMART goals. And SMART goal is what means S for specific, M for measurable, A for attainable, R for realistic, and T for time bound. So whatever you'll be writing down for me, especially 3 important goals that you want to achieve, you can say, for example, I want to paint Nairobi. I want to make sure that Nairobi will be highly paved all over within the next 10 years. Within the next 10 years. So I would say that for the next 10 years, my company will do 10,000 kilometers of paved pedestrian pathway. That is specific. It is pathway, which is paved. It is measurable, 10,000 kilometers. It is attainable because it has happened. It is realistic because we have seen around CBK, Times Tower, National Bank, all around has been done. It was done within a certain period of time. So we can extrapolate and say that if this one was done within 1 year, then 10 years you're able to do the 10,000. And then time bound that way. So it must have those things given parameters. I want 3 of them. But how do you present to me? You present them in terms of Roman numbers. So you'll probably say Roman 1, indicate here Roman 1. You can do it, don't do it in bullet. Expect you to do in Roman 1, Roman 2, Roman 3. So you can say Roman 1, my goal, first of all, is say have develop pavement pavement in Nairobi. The way I said it before, in Nairobi, and it becomes specific. I just wanted you to show what I mean by having Roman number one, Roman number two. So you also indicate for the others, blah 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 blah, what you want to do, and then you do the Roman three, blah 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 that way. So that's what I expect to see under this particular level. But they must be smart, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. I'll give you an example of one under pavement in Nairobi, and we move on. 1.4 product or service. I want one of them. I don't want you to create for me a product or and a service. You just create one. If you are doing pavement, you probably would say that you have your own factory somewhere outside Nairobi or like Kitegela. You'll be transporting materials from there, or ready-made materials for construction, and you do the pavement. When you do that, we expect to do that. You are doing product. You are creating your own product, and you do the pavement, or you do civil engineering work around Nairobi. So we'll pick one and learn with it. So describe to us the service or the product that you want to offer. You need to take into account the following: the name of the product or the service, and you ought to explain your product and the value it creates society. I've noticed that a large part of Nairobi now, you can easily walk without even late night, because it's well illuminated, there is light. Another time it was a den for robbers, and now you're coming out of it. It's someone who came up with that idea. Can you bring in through your civil engineering knowledge, and let us see the society gaining from you? We start seeing the technical university producing engineers who think of it. Come up with a very good plan with the budget, inflow and outflow. Let us see whether there's a surplus of the money that will benefit from it, because you also be benefiting, and go for funding from either development partners, or join about with the county government or other people who think it's good to have that product. The industry that you are in, if you're in construction industry, it has its own characteristics. It has a trend. It has its own merits. It has its own disadvantages. So we are saying you briefly describe the industry that you'll be operating in, and you show the characteristics. So you highlight industrial trends. If you're in communications, tell us. If you're an engineer, you're in that. If it's transport, tell us what you do. If you're in textile manufacturing, tell us what you do. But here you highlight industrial trend and say that in Roman 1, I've said that you itemize them. You can tell us, don't do bullets. In Roman 1, you itemize that in this industry, what you call construction industry, for the last 20 years, it has experienced sporadic changes. And these changes are brought about by the following facts. One, there's a lot of civil engineering, IT, combining with the actual conventional civil engineering that has revolutionized the industry. And therefore, you do not have to construct materials or come up with the production materials in Kenya. You can import them at a cheaper price. That is the trend. Trend number two, we have noticed that the civil engineering industry has been experiencing an influx of engineers from out of other countries, like China, like Japanese, and they have revolutionized the industry to an extent that most of activities happening are machine-based, and we have robots, or you have something. I've seen some construction happening around here, and you don't require those people that shove and put around concrete around. It's done now by machines, and this is happening around. So you need to itemize them around here. And the future of the industry is very important. You may tell us what may happen in that industry in the next 10 to 20 years. And probably we may not require to have engineers anymore. You just require one person, and the rest can be done by other people using machines. foundry are there, and we have seen happening a lot of lesson from Chinese. Chinese have come up with different method of production, hitherto we didn't know before. Before that I continue anymore, I want you to ask me any one or two questions, whether we are resonating well with your engineering, or there is something that probably would want me or you'd want to comment, and I would hear from you as an engineer in terms of business plan. Amos, Nana, your name comes ahead of others with Arnold because of your Abdulbat's name. Amos?
So far, it's well.
It's well.
We are resonating
You are
well.
very good with it.
Yeah.
So I'll also guide you individually, not necessarily as a group, until you understand it, so that when you go to the field, you don't look so green. You can easily talk with other engineers, you know, we'll go to terms here, which will later on I'll teach you, which lead them talk about economics. And I know you have done production economics, and some of them on entrepreneurship. I'll try to join each one of them so that you are not green when you go out. 1.6, business opportunity justification. You need to tell me and justify why you in this project doing it where you want to do it. So you need to justify, and I'll give an example here. So I want you to present around 3 of them, but you'll say that I'm a civil engineer, and I have some experience before I joined the university, and during my long holiday I normally joined particular firms, and this helped me to have an upstart ahead of my other competitors. That's number one. Number two, my uncle has an industry, has a company that uses civil engineering. I have a lot of experience out of that, and my uncle will be helping me with some of the tools that I'll start business with, in terms of machinery, in terms of a building where I can store them, because he has got several warehouses. 2, 3, you can say that I have a proposal, and it has gone through, and I want to utilize the funds I'll be given by a development partner to start. So you are way ahead of your competitor, and that's why you are starting it. You are justifying. I come from an area where the materials are readily available, like Ukabani. There is a lot of sand, and I can utilize that one. I just get funding from either the county in that area, or my uncle or my auntie, and they'll be able to start good to go. You're justifying the reason why you are doing this particular business, or why you're writing this business plan. You need to justify them in terms of Roman 1, Roman 2, Roman 3, Roman 4. I just want 3. When it comes to BCom, I normally ask 6. But because you're engineers, I don't want to harass you so much. I know you're already harassed out there by the field, and which require a lot of you to go through places. Some other countries have noticed that they normally involve engineering students in projects that are happening. Like the way we had the expressway, it would probably be sending our students there, so that they interact with other international bodies like Chinese or Japanese, and you learn a lot from them deliberately instead of being in the class. So we are doing that one here in our university as IBL. But you'd have some other countries that you only have classes in the morning. In the afternoon, you'd get some companies coming for students. If it's Chinese, they send their van there, they pick maybe 5 or 2 students, and half of the day will be finding you in the expressway, working with them. Maybe we are heading that direction, because technical university won't go that direction, so that our student, by the time you leave here, you have already interacted with other engineers so much that you don't have to look for the job. You say, Mungai, come, we've got a job for you before you clear. This is what happens. We had that advantage ourselves. By the time I left the university, I had 2 letters. One was I got it from Pricewaterhouse, and they wanted people to go and work in Del Monte as management accountant. So I got a job before I left the university. So we also hope it also happened to you. 1.70 we call entry and growth strategies. I've given you example here. The other classes I don't give them this one, but I don't want you to struggle. You just pick 3 out of the one I'm giving you. When you go to a new industry, so many things happen. And what am I saying here? For you to enter in that industry, you'll find people who block you from getting to that industry. And this can happen in many ways. There could be entry barriers. And those entry barriers are terrible, especially for professionals. Before you join an industry now as engineer, you must go through professional body. And this professional body could be the body of engineers. We have 2 now. And which body of engineering do you belong to? We have one, we have house one here in Technical University. Brian, which body of engineering do you aspire to join? Brian. Brian is not in my class.
I'm in your class.
Kibet, you don't?
Yes, I'm in your class.
Kibet, yes. Pardon? Yeah, I'm saying which body of engineering do you want to join? You must join at least one.
Engineering Board of Kenya.
Pardon?
Engineering Board of Kenya.
I can't hear you. Engineering Board of Kenya. And you have one here at
I'm having
3rd
some
floor.
problems. That's why you can't hear me well.
Oh, okay, fine. Don't worry. But at least I can get you. So at least you must join a particular body. If you want to join pharmacy for first degree in pharmacy, they require you to go to join and take some papers in Kenya poison boards. They cannot allow you to start practicing without license. That is an entry barrier. You probably will not be allowed to join now technical university unless you have masters minimum to teach in the technical university or PhD. You show a progress in PhD. That's also entry barriers. So how do you join business? And there are so many barriers around it. So I've explained here there are several entry strategies that you can use. You can use franchising. What is franchising? You want to join an industry, food industry, like maybe you want to be selling fried chicken or whatever. For you to join it easily, you need to pay some down payment, and you are allowed to have a license by maybe Kenya, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. They can give you a franchise. They prepare everything for you, maybe in the next to a petrol station, and you pay maybe 5 million, and then they allow you to join. You'll be selling their products. And they become now the owner of that the owner of that hotel, or the owner of that KFC in that region. You can do partnering. Already some people are doing well in the field. You tell them, I want to be a partner, I'll pay 3 million to join. You can have joint ventures. You may be given or be awarded a very huge project to construct a road, maybe from Machakos Junction to Machakos town, around maybe 22 kilometers. You may not have enough funds. So what do? You look for partners. They join these partners. They are called joint ventures now. They bring in their machineries, others bring money, others bring their expertise, like you now, you're an expert in engineering, and then you construct that road. That's what we call joint ventures. You can buy a company if you're rich enough. Equity has been buying so many housing finance corporations around here, corporates, and they're growing big. So if you want to expand, you can expand by buying other companies. You can piggyback. I mean, someone has machineries, has everything, but he doesn't have the expertise like you. You can piggyback on the machineries, the go downs they have, but you have the technical knowledge of something you're doing, like engineer. You're a civil engineer. That's what type. You can also go turnkey. I mean, why bother to go to another country, struggle a lot, and you have billions? You just go to one of the companies that probably is housing farm. It has got so many farms. You buy some of them, and they give you the key. You just go and turn the key. That's why they are called turnkey projects. And they're there. So I need you to pick three out of the one I've given around 5, 6, and the light materials around it. Usually I don't give for BCom student. I expect them to come up with this thing. So you itemize 1, 2, 3 the way I've done there. 1.17 is called growth strategies. Now that you're in the market, you're in the industry, how do you grow? And I've given you that to expound on this, you need to have strategy, growth strategy. How do you grow? For instance, you have decided that you want to go to the food industry, and you have approached KFC. They have given you the KFC along Halasarazi Avenue in the next to a petrol station. How do you grow it? There are so many other competitors around. There are pizzas around there. There is Java. I've seen Pronto coming up. But how do you make sure that you compete them favorably? You must have a strategy to grow and expand. For example, you can decide that you can partner with the Uber, and anytime they are transporting the customers, you can use them to transport maybe food to other people. You can employ their motorcycles around. You have seen Uber food. You have seen others that have come up with the Grupo or something. Nowadays, I don't see it. There was SEDI. Are they existing? Or is it my eyes are not able to locate them? And Karugu. Is SEDI still operating? Karugu. Karumbi. Have student here who are not responding. Owiti, the last time you were very active. Do we still have those companies which are supplying food and they use motorcycles? Some of them I've seen them using bicycles. Which one is the most prominent now doing those business? Owiti. Erika,
Glovo.
you're talking?
Glovo.
Glovo is doing very well.
Yes.
And I've also seen another one. Is Uber doing it? There was Uber food. Have they stopped? Korea?
They are still. I mean, they are still doing it.
Okay, but can you see my point that I want to say for you to grow, you can't say that only have one shop at Heloserazi Avenue called KFC. You want to spread out there, but you don't want to have several structures. So what do? You come up with another strategy of either using Uber, Grover, and whatever it is. I want you to read a very good book called Marketing Management by Philip Kotler. It has more information about it, but I want you to itemize 3 growth strategies that we use. Let us see the potential risks that you're likely to face when you are in the field doing that business. The potential risk could be technology. There could be other people who come up with a very simple technology away from the bicycle and the motorcycle. There could be a better way of doing it. They can say that we'll give you, every office will supply them with maybe dry fryer for free. And then the only thing that you do will be providing those services. It will be providing you with the fried chicken or whatever. You just warm it there. So even if it comes cold, you can warm it there. That's technology. We have seen some companies now. Previously, you used to get gas cylinders from the petrol station. Nowadays, you don't have to do that. You have cylinders fitted with an electric gadget. If it is about to clear, probably to deplete, and it is maybe remaining with 2 kilos only, it will warn you even when you're in the office. It will send some messages. You have only 2 kilos. The way airtime you are warned that you have only 3 minutes. It will warn you. And their offices will also indicate Jane or Mercy, his gas is only remaining, which is only remaining with 1 kilo only. And she normally maybe used 1 kilo per day. So someone will provide that, will deliver to your home. not previously the way you have to drive all the way. It's a technology that will wipe you out of the industry. So it could be other potential risk like reputational risk. Someone can say that company is useless. They repaired my vehicle the other day and it's always storing on the way, and that one will damage the reputation of your firm. So you know how to handle it. So I want you to give me a minimum of three potential risk that your business may face. It could be reputation, it could be strategic risk, someone else come up with another firm that swallows yours immediately. It could be competitive risk. Safaricom says that from today's onward, we'll be providing voice for zero, so long as zero pay, so long as you subscribe with Safaricom. That is what we call chapter 1. I would give you like 2 or 3 minutes to ask me 2 or 3 questions about it before I go to chapter 2. Questions on how you handle it. Question on area that you don't understand before you go to chapter 2. If you don't have questions, it means that you have understood everything or you are completely lost.
Okay, I was asking,
yes.
In chapter 1,
yes.
you did not mention chapter 1.1. I don't know why.
You don't?
You have not mentioned 1.1. There is no 1.1.
Okay. I've just let me see whether it's another site. I said that is 1.0. Then I went to 1.2. Thank you. It means that Bruto, you are very keen. Essentially, when you are doing a business plan and there is description for other units, you normally have 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. I just made you sure that you have got 1.1 only, which covers anything about 1.1. For BCom student, it's divided all through 1.1 all through to 1.8. Is that clear? So I made it easier for you. You just describe for me the vision, the mission, and that's all. Then you go to 1.2. So I made your work easier. Is that okay, Kipruto?
Understood. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Otherwise, if we are to become student, this one is normally done a separate semester on its own. You do exactly 4 months. I didn't want to take you all through that when you are taking also the course, another coursework. It will kill you, and I don't want to have a problem with student learning mad around here. You are doing 2 units in 1. That's why it's oversimplified. And remember, I said your unit is oversimplified in terms of business plan. Remember? That's the reason why. Kipruto, that's very good. It means that you are very keen, and I like that. Any other question? Akinyi, Joan. Akinyi. Okay, fine. Let's go to chapter 2 now. And chapter 2 is the easiest of all. Chapter 1 requires a lot of details. Chapter 2 it's very, very, very easy. As I said before, when you're introducing a chapter, you write it chapter 1, 2, whatever. Now you write 2 in word. It must be in uppercase, centered, and it must be bold. Chapter 2, marketing plan. And that's what starts with 2. When you go to 3, read 3. Chapter 2 is simply marketing. How do you market your service? How do you market your product? What techniques do you have? What tactics do you have? What strategies do you have? So I'll take you through this. So we expected to explain or demonstrate under this chapter how it will help your farm to move goods and services to the final consumer. That's what I want you to write for me here. That's simple. 2.1, marketing research. But I expect that at this point, and I want to indicate here for you, you read a very nice book called Marketing Management by Phil Cotran. This book is essential, especially for this chapter, chapter 2. So I copy this one here, and indicate here, you make sure that you read that book, Marketing by Philip Kotler. It will be very useful for your business. It will also be useful for your life in so many other areas. How to market your product, your services, and also yourself. So I expect you to read, and when you read, I want you to summarize all those, whatever you read, and indicate to me that this chapter, it will be very useful to your business and how it will help your business reach your final consumer. 2.1, market research and analysis. You cannot claim that you know your customers unless you do conduct something called KYC, know your customer. How do you know your customers? It is expected that you will go out there in the field, do a bit of research, understand who buys what, when, how, and why do they buy. When you do that, you'll get some data, either from competitors in your own way of getting them, or you'll get this data from the consumer themselves. You therefore will briefly explain the techniques that you use to summarize that data in a manner that become useful to you. So a candidate is expected to briefly explain techniques that you use in market research and analysis. Go to Philip Kotler. You get all those things. Don't struggle. And you can also Google and see what are the best techniques that I will use to get data in market research for my small business that deals with civil engineering. You'll get it. And we expect from you that you cover the market that you want to service. You tell us the size and your growth prospects. What do you expect to? How do you expect to grow? In the very beginning, people used to sell low milk. You just milk and from your cows, and you go sell it to the market. Now you're not allowed by the government to do that. And there are so many farms: Dairy Farm, KCC, Fresher, and we have Brookside. Milk, when is collected from different centers and sold to people without pasteurizing them, it is known to pass diseases from animal, transmitted diseases from animals to human, like brucellosis. And it comes from milk. And if it is not pasteurized and treated, then you'll have a lot of diseases coming from animals transferred to human beings, or even meat. That's why you inspect meat. So Brookside noticed that Kenya, we do not take care of our customers. So it came up with a factory near Ruero, and it is making a lot of product of that: cheese, cheese. Nowadays they're also coming up with plant milk from almond. These are growth prospects. At a future date, maybe you don't require milk from cows. You can get it from almond. You can get it from soya seeds or that kind of thing. So I expect you to show me the prospects. This is trying to open our mind. Who are your customers? Don't make a lot of stories around here. Just indicate who are your customers. The principal customers, maybe like Brookside, would be selling to supermarkets to their principal customers, sell to maybe army barracks or schools. Those are principal customers. I know those are the principal customers. Could be like supermarkets. Those are principal. They really take a lot of milk. Institution could be barracks, could be schools, could be hospitals. Let us know who are your institutional customer and who are principal customers. It is me, it is you to give us, because I really don't know what you're doing. Market size, you expected to describe the market in which your business will fulfill a given need or a mission. So ensure that you calculate the market share. Your engineers, you are very good with the figures. I don't have to show this. If you are, I'll only describe. If you are serving a population of 10,000 people in a given area, and that's your area that you can say it is your target market, you will say that you will start maybe with institutions like barracks and schools, which constitute around 3,000. So your market share will be 3,000 over the 10,000, the one you are competing with other competitors. So that should be a market share. And that's that simple. 2.40, competition. Who are your competitors? Don't say there are no competitors. Even a big farm like Brookside, it has got serious competitors like Fresher, and others are coming up. Meru, there is a, I don't remember its name. There's a very big factory that's been built in Meru, and it is packing milk and selling all over. What do you call that farm? Who come from Meru here? What do you call that farm? And it's really competing with the Fresher, and it's also competing with the Brookside. Give me the name. Elijah. Motweri. He must be telling me it's come from Meru. Which farm that is actually Mount? Motweri? Motweri, I can't hear you. You have talked and I can't hear you. You have talked and I can't hear you.
Maybe Mount Kenya milk.
Oh, yeah, it's about
Maybe
Kenya.
Mount,
Yeah, it's about Kenya. And
maybe
it's doing
Mount
very
Kenya
well.
milk.
And it's doing very well. Good. Thanks. So we are talking that over Motweri. I expect you to mute. So we are saying that competition is there. You can't say there's no competition, but want you to describe your competitors. But I help you. You just say that you be expecting a lot of competition now that there are those other established firms there. But there's a way that you have come up with strategies that will be able to outdo those competitors. I expect you to explain there and also tell us who are your competitors. If it's Fresher, maybe Mount Kenya or any other smaller one which is close to you, and they give you the land of your money. 2.41 have cascaded down from the competition of 2.40 and have come now to 2.41. But I want to mention something. When you want to detail certain information away from the subtopic, like 2.40, which is competition, you just write 2.4.1. Or you convert from 0 to 1. If you are to add up with other information, which is slightly more than that, you have 2.42 or 2.43. I hope that is clear. But I want you also to know that when you're writing those subtopic, you need to have to be factual. And when you do that, you'll be able to capture the competitors in a manner that you are able to describe to the people who are reading to have a lot of interest. So for you to capture that one on terms of competitors, we need to do what we call SWOT analysis. S start for strength, acronym, W for weaknesses, O for opportunities, and T for threats. I want you to understand that S and W, strength and weaknesses, are internal. It is your firm that understands their strengths and weaknesses. And I'll give an example here. If you're a civil engineer and you want to be doing pavement in Nairobi, you could be having some strength that you are a civil engineer by training. So anything that will be done there, it will have some professionalism. You are not a cowboy contractor. The people who are member of parliament, and because they have got a way to get tenders, they tender for construction of roads and pavement, and the highest level of grade he attained in Form 4 was mathematics D minus. And you are an engineer with an A. And he probably studied history and Kiswahili, but he has a farm. So those people will depend on you. That's a strength. Weakness could be you don't have money. This member of parliament have a lot of money and they can bribe somewhere. I don't say member of parliament bribe around, but I expect that they can do that one considering their nature in Kenya. So I want you to come up with a table like this that summarizes whatever I've said: the strength, the weaknesses, and the opportunities and threat. I want to talk about now opportunities. Opportunities are out there. You don't get opportunity in your house. You go out there hunting for them. When you are hunting for opportunities, there are certain attributes that you're looking for. And we are looking for those attributes that tell us that when you go out there, you are looking for an underserved area. We know very well that Kibela has got so many people. But can you do a pavement that at least people can move from their houses and get somewhere and clean their shoes and walk towards town very well? It is underserved market. Or maybe there are few competitors. That's what to be writing for us. Or maybe you have got a positive media. People like covering young men or women who are ambitious, they are brainy, they may not have money, but they have degrees and they have got what it takes to produce. Those are your opportunities out there. Threats, and know that emerging markets, things are changing, especially when it comes to construction industry. A house that probably would have taken 2 years to construct, Chinese are doing it within 2 years, under 2 years, maybe 6 months. The expressway was supposed to take, if it probably was a contractor in Kenya, even now, it should be under construction. Chinese did it with half a year. It was laid out. The other 6 months was probably doing the final part of fixing the gadgets, the machineries, that kind of thing. So there are threats, emerging markets coming up. They are changing the regulatory authority. You cannot now have a construction firm unless you're an engineer or you have employed an engineer and it's been taken through engineering board. It's called NCC something. Is it board or what am I saying? If you're constructing a house now, you must get a license from a certain body that is dealing with engineers. And I normally see them using a spray and they light. Is it NCA or something? What do you call that firm? Tibet. It's a regulatory body that control civil engineers or construction. And they are very keen. Anywhere there is a building, you find there is a building.
NCA.
NCA. So you also tell us that you can mute. Those regulations affecting you. Those are threats. I want us to think of something else around here. I expect you to do strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats here. It's in form of a table. 2.5 pricing strategy. The pricing strategy here, anytime you get into a market, know that there's one fact. Customers would want to buy, a rational consumer would want to buy goods cheaper than any other place, but quality. But do you have a strategy on how to play with the price? I'll give an example. Supposing you're in the matatu industry and you want to play with the price. 14-seater are charging maybe 100 shillings to go to Karen. You may want to play with that price. What do? You come maybe with an electric bus that carries 110 people. And it is using either solar or electricity. You cut the price almost to 30 shillings and then you kill everyone in that market. That's what we call a pricing strategy. It could be also buy two, you get one free. It's a tactics on a pricing strategy. You could also probably agree what Somalis are doing now. They're very bright. They go to a factory, they combine 5 or 10 partners, they buy all the jig, and they are given a very high discount. And then they come and probably play with the prices. They get 1 shilling per container or a bottle, and then they push everyone out of the market. It's about the strengths. It's about the strategy. So which strategy are you using to get to the market under price? Read Philip Kotler. You get a lot of them and you like them. Sales tactics, I've said you can sell to a large number of people, but how do you reach them? You can use distributors. You can probably piggyback on another farm. For example, there is a farm that always transport goods from Nairobi to Mombasa. Now you can tell them that I'll be paying this. I'll piggyback on you. I'll ride on your back, and anytime you are transporting newspapers, I will put an advert with the newspaper inside your newspaper. You have seen that one at a nation. You open a news nation and you find an advert of a bread. You are piggybacking. You are distributing through a bigger distributor. Why bother to struggle a lot? Get on the shoulders of a giant. You'll see it's very far. That's what it is. So you can have a good media which can easily market your product or sell your product. You can also possibly utilize distributors or agents who can sell for you, but you give them commission. That's 2.5. I don't want to go more than that, to do more than that for one reason. This is a practical lesson. expect you to go and do chapter 1 to chapter 3, chapter 1 to 2. I'm sending this note right away. I also sent for chapter 1 to 3, but you will read it. But I expect you to start doing your work, chapter 1, 2, and 3, so that I start adding value to whatever you're doing. I will also send together with these notes something called the most common repeated mistakes from students, so that you avoid them. Ask me any question before we close this chapter. I expect you to be sending me the presentation chapter 1 to 2 now. I will also go through chapter 2 to 3, then I do chapter 5 on its own. And then anytime you send to me, I'll mark them. And for chapter 1 and 2, being the very first time of semester, and I expect that you don't have a lot of work, I want to give you up to, we have a class with you on Friday. No, this Friday is not confirmed. Caesar, what did you agree? Or you would want to call me separately? Caesar?
I'm still simulating the timetable. I will let you know.
You let me know. So I also agree with you and set the deadline for this one, so that you bring them. I start marking. You are very many, 74. I start marking as we move on, so that we don't have a burden at the end of the semester or term when you are rushing over things. This is okay for you. The next class now, Caesar, will be having theory. I'll go back to the course outline. You'll be lighting this one as assignment on its own, and the other one I'll be teaching you as you continue. Any question? It means that I have very good students who understand everything. Yes, Mutero?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Okay, my question is, we are submitting the chapter 1 to 3. Is this just for
No,
you
I want to give you 1 to 2. Then you submit 3 and 4 later on.
Okay, so this 1 and 2, are you going to mark in form of the final assessment, or is it just like?
Yes, anytime you send me, I mark chapter 1. I give you I give you marks out of that.
Because I thought you were going to look at it and then tell us that do this, and then
Yes. That's what I'll do. I'll do that, and then when you do correction and send back to me, I'll give you the marks.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay? That's a good question.
Thank you.
Okay, another one. Brian Kikwesh. I see you smiling. You're good. So can we start immediately? And then anytime I may get involved in other activities. Like now on 29, I will not be with you. Or subject to we discuss with Caesar, because the class may not be there. But anytime I'm not in, you have some work to be doing elsewhere. Is that clear? Arnold? The only person who is responding very fast is Kibet. I hope Kibet you have heard.
Yeah, so far.
You've heard. Fine. So enjoy the rest of the day, and make sure they start immediately today. The next lesson we'll discuss with your class rep, and then I'll be on. So the class is over. Unless there is any other question, I am going off air. I'm setting the notes immediately. Make sure that you share the notes, and ensure that you assist one another to go through this project. There's no marking scheme for it. Fine. See you.